You know you've been mishandled, but at times you choose to ignore it. It's time to tap into your inner queen. So come on in here and let's chat. You're not a doormat, sis, so it's time to stop allowing people to walk all over you. Yes, today's message simply talks about how we know when we are mishandled, but then there are times when we keep quiet. So, I want to share with you some helpful ways that you can tap into your inner queen and begin to use the power of your own voice. So, we all have gone through experiences like this, rather it be a intimate relationship or someone on our job or even a long-term friendship that we've encountered and experienced in life, right? We know when we've been mishandled. We know how it makes us feel. We know when someone is wronging us, even if the signs aren't as obvious. It can be subtle, right? But there is something on the inside of us that's saying, this doesn't sit well with me. This is not resonating well with me. This doesn't align with me. This doesn't make me feel good. There is something on the inside of you that is telling you, and that is ringing that bell in you, and that is nudging on your spirit within you saying, this ain't right. But we choose to ignore the signs. We choose to ignore the warnings. We choose to ignore it and continue to navigate around it and with it, and it end up costing us our peace, our happiness, our joy, our fulfillment, just everything that is who we really are. And so today I want to really share some helpful tips with you to be able to tap into your inner queen, and not just tap into it, but honor the voice that is within you and use the power of your voice most effectively. Because what we do sometimes is we keep quiet, or when we do speak up for ourselves, we are ineffective. All right? So, how many of you have gone through relationships and you have, allowed someone to come into your life to mistreat you? Actually, let me take that back. You didn't allow them to come into your life to mistreat you. They came into your life and deceived you, and therefore they mistreated you, and you've allowed it for weeks, months, years, even decades, right? And when you allow these types of things to happen, like I said, whether it be a relationship, a friendship, or someone on your job, you begin to think that this is the norm. You say, you know what, I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to let that one slide. I'm going to humble myself. I'm going to turn the other cheek. I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to take the high road. I'm going to be a bigger person. But really, that is doing an injustice to yourself. That's doing a disservice to yourself, honestly, truly. And I'm not saying that every experience and every encounter that you should confront and every encounter you should pop off or anything like that. Again, we're talking about the effective way, the most effective way to tap into your inner queen and to use the power of your voice. So, again, people mishandle us. They mistreat us. We have set our standards. We've raised the bar. They don't meet our need. They don't meet our expectation. They disrespect us, dishonor us, disregard us. Come on. And we tolerate it. And why do we tolerate it? Is it really because of the spirit of humility, or is it because of vulnerability? Because there is a difference. There's one thing to be humble and say, I'm going to take the high road today. I'm going to give my concerns, my cares, my worries, my frustrations over to God. I'm going to release it in prayer. I'm going to release it in meditation. I'm going to let it go, right? And then there's times where you're vulnerable. And I'm not saying vulnerability isn't good, but there's times when we're vulnerable and we continue to tolerate something that we should have already released. Vulnerable because we feel inside some way, somehow, that we need this thing. Come on. We need that job to continue to pay our bills and to continue to support our livelihood and continue to provide for our children. So we take unfair treatment on our jobs, and we humble ourselves, or we become vulnerable due to the circumstances, and we just allow it go on for years and years and years, or in that relationship and even marriage. You know, we deal with the disrespect, we deal with the mishandling of our emotions, the mishandling of, you know, who we are, mind, body, and spirit. And because we desire marriage and we desire to build that foundation in that relationship, we keep quiet, we let it slide, we, you know, sweep it under the rug, we let it pile up. And more, we become resentful, angry, and we really start to step out of our character as time go on, when we keep quiet and we just don't speak up for ourselves and choose us and say, you know what, this is unacceptable and I will not tolerate this, not from you. So I want to share even friendships. You may have had a very long friendship, a childhood friendship, someone that you've grown up with, that you've loved, you cared about, you've been besties with. And you realize that there's a cycle, there's a pattern of, you know, mishandling and mistreatment. And let me just be clear, this is not a message about the victim mentality. This is simply a message about raising your awareness so that you can tap into the inner queen on the inside of you and say, nah, that's not right. And today it stops. Today I will not tolerate this. Today it will not go on any further. So getting back to the friendships that you have, there are times where you tolerate it because you're like, you know what, this is my BFF. They didn't mean anything by it. You know, this is just who she is. This is just who he is. You know what, I'm going to let it slide. It's not that deep. You know what, I don't want to be confrontational because I don't want to, you know, step on eggshells or crack the egg, or I don't want to rub someone the wrong way. But again, you do a disservice to yourself when you don't honor yourself and you don't honor the knowing, right, on the inside of you, that wisdom on the inside of you, that inner queen that's on the inside of you, the spirit of God that's on the inside of you. You are doing a disservice to yourself when you don't honor yourself. And so I know for me, I'm just keeping it real because I know this is a teaching lesson, but I have to share with you things I've gone through in my life. And yes, I have had these experiences throughout my relationships with men, with my relationships with women, when it comes to our friendship, and even on my former jobs at my former employers. I've experienced this, and we all do. And for me, you know, sometimes I say I'm going to take the high road, I'm going to humble myself, and then there are times where I'm vulnerable, and I feel that if I speak up for myself, then, you know, the situation may alter. Let's keep it real. The situation may alter and affect my livelihood. This may affect my job, which will affect my livelihood. This may affect my relationship with him, which affects my livelihood, or not even so much livelihood, but it affects my emotions in the way I'm handling things throughout my day, or the way it may make me feel, or the choices that I may now have to make if I choose me. Or a friendship, you know what, if I speak up for myself, you know, this may go wrong and I may sever the friendship with this person, and I only can think about the memories of when times were good. We have to stop this. We have to simply stop this and really begin to use our voice on the inside of us and speak up for self and tap into the inner queen that is within us and be most effective. What I mean by that is, tip number one, we don't have to be confrontational. We can simply tell whomever it may be, I will not tolerate this any longer. I deserve respect. I deserve honor because I honor you, and I honor the friendship, and I honor the relationship, and therefore I expect it in return. And if you cannot reciprocate that, I will remove myself from you or remove you from me. point blank, period. Okay? Period. Point blank. And so we have to really do that, because if we don't, we will be in these toxic, relationships and vicious cycles that only can be broken by the power of what? Your voice. So we have to use our voice and use it most effective. And at times when we let things slide because we think that it's the spirit of humility, we're just giving someone power and an advantage to continue to repeat the same cycles in our lives, continue to make us feel the way that we do, continue to leave us with sorrow and upset. And that is something that will really cause our self-esteem to lack, right? It will cause us to have a low vibration and low negative energy. It will allow us to start feeling some kind of ways about ourselves and about the things that we're actually doing in our lives that are bomb, things that we want to accomplish in our lives, our dreams, our goals, our desires. It affects every single thing. It affects everything. It affects your mind and how you think and the thoughts throughout your day. It affects, your body and the upset and how you feel in your body and how you don't want to eat, you want to sleep, you want to be lazy, you don't feel like getting out of bed, you don't want to log on, you don't want to work, you don't want to work your business. It affects your spirit. You're like, you know what? I'm just so tired of dealing with this constantly, repeatedly. It's so redundant. I don't even feel like praying about this. I don't even feel like taking this before God. I'm done. I'm tired of it. I'm just going to keep quiet. Listen, we do this. We have to know when to speak and when to be silent, right? And, Ecclesiastes talks about that. In chapter 3, there's a time to speak and there's a time to be silent. And this, my dear, it's not the time to be silent because you want to be humble. No, it's time for you to use the voice that is within you. All right? Listen to the voice when those red flags go off. Honor the voice within you, and then utilize the voice most effective. So, what are you going to do differently today when you experience someone that comes into your life and mishandle you? Now, it's one thing if they're ignorant, they just don't know any better, they made a mistake, that's fine. There is grace, there is forgiveness, right? But then there are times, sis, where it's just repeated offense. Offender comes in, repeat again and again and again. And yes, we ought to forgive. But it doesn't mean we have to tolerate it. It doesn't mean that we have to continue to create the space in our life, create the space in our heart, create the space in our home, create the space in our environments for it. It doesn't mean that we have to continue to receive the emails and the text messages and the phone calls and the nonsense, from someone who obviously isn't doing better for themselves and therefore can't do any better for you and for the friendship, the relationship, the partnership, So we have to say, you know what? I'm going to choose this day for myself, and I'm going to stop the unfair treatment and the way that I'm mishandled. So I want you to really tap into the inner queen on the inside of you. We all have it. Tap into it. It is time. It is time to do things differently. It is time to attract differently in our lives. It is time to raise our level of vibration, raise the level of expectation, raise our spiritual awareness, and become more awakened to the truth, awakened to what's going on around us. Stop being blindsided and stop being in our feelings and stop being in our vulnerabilities, right? Too long where we don't use wisdom and we don't see how we ought to deal with situations when we've been mishandled. So I want you to drop in the comments right below this video and share with me how you're going to do things differently. We're not going to focus on the past and focus on what we're going to do to become better so that we can receive better. Listen, like, comment, and subscribe so that whenever I go live or whenever I upload a video, you will be first to be notified. And you do that by clicking on the little bell so that you can hear it go ding, and then you can go, oh, I gotta go tap into the video. All right, so let's make sure we do that, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Mwah.